Emma, could you share us with that? What is Asheville FM?
Asheville FM is an all-volunteer community radio station that's located here in West Asheville on Haywood Road. And it's open to anyone in the community to come and volunteer and eventually have a show live on the radio. And we have everything from music shows, kids shows, as well as news programming and talk.
So why is it important to have a community radio? Because we have many radios in the area that are commercial, but why is it important to have a community one?
It's different in a number of ways. First, we don't have any commercials, so our radio isn't funded by products or companies. We receive all of our financial support either from people here in Asheville or from local small businesses, which I think is very important. It means that no one's paying us to say anything specific.
That's right.
Also, it means that no matter how much experience someone has, they can come to Asheville FM and learn how to run a radio station, how to have a show, use recording equipment, and become part of the radio station. It's not something that you have to show up already knowing how to do, which means it's open to anyone, no matter what your job is during the day, if you have a family, how old you are, you can become a part of this radio station.
Yeah, and that's very important because one of the ideas that to have a community TV in our case is to let the people tell their own stories. Nobody is better for telling that story than the person who lives that.
That's right.
Yeah, and share with us about the history of the radio, when it was born, how it was created.
I'm going to be a little rough here,
Okay.
but it's not been around for very long. I want to say 2006. No, that's way too long. It's only been around for maybe 6 to 7 years, so 2010 maybe. It started in Battle Cat Coffee in the back where Tiger Bay is now.
Yeah.
And we used to only be on the internet. And only for the last 3 years have we been broadcasting on the air. We got a license from the government, the FCC, to be allowed to broadcast. And so we have 103.3 Asheville FM. And so we've been around, not very long, and we've been growing. So we moved from Battle Cat Coffee to Haywood Road across from the Dutch Girl Laundromat, and we just took over a second side of the building that we're in, and we're building a new studio. So we went from one tiny room to 2 tiny rooms, and now we have 4 pretty big rooms. So if people want to volunteer, they can stop by the station. They can also go to the website, ashevillefm.org, and there's a button that says volunteer, and you can just put in your name, and someone will be in touch about getting involved. You can also talk to someone that you already know who is a volunteer, and I bet that you know someone. There's a lot of us over there, and just let them know, that you're interested, and then they can put you directly in touch with someone who could help you get plugged in with something to do immediately. And so I'm available for that, and there's an email address that's news@AshevilleFM or Emma@AshevilleFM. Both of those people can email me in English or in Spanish, and we'll make sure to get them plugged in.
You right now are doing journalism.
That's right.
How do you see the importance of that career in this particular time of the history in the United States?
Well, it's so important. I think that the conversation around what is fake news, what is real news is happening constantly, but also whose voices are being heard, whose stories are being told, and who's telling them, I think is always a huge concern. It always has been prior to this administration even. And the great thing about a community radio station is that we have a team of volunteer journalists. We decide what we're going to cover and how we're going to cover it, and we're very careful to, we do make sure to write headlines about what's happening here in Asheville, what's happening in the state of North Carolina, as well as internationally and nationally, but we also make sure to hear lots of voices from the Asheville community all the time, and also letting people just tell their own sides of the story.
Of course.
And we're all volunteers, so of course we're learning as we go, but I think that we still have a very high standard, and it's almost more important, more delicate, more precious that we're responsible for the stories of our neighbors, right? I feel like there's no anonymity. We're not able to hide behind a big news company like a newspaper, or we're people who do what we do because we care, and that's a big responsibility, and I think it means that we try our best to do a very good job. Previously, we had La Radio on Monday evenings, which is a Spanish news program. Our beloved Victor Palomino.
Victor, from Victor, yes.
He has moved to Kentucky to work for a radio station there.
Radio station, yes.
And we have an English news hour on Thursdays. But on Tuesdays from 7 to 8, we have an open spot that anyone in the community can come and work with one of our producers, one of our current volunteers, to host a radio show. It could be once a month, it could be every 2 weeks. So there is already an opening on Tuesdays if people want to start bringing Spanish news back to Asheville FM. There's a space for that. And we also have Oscar on Mondays with Ritmo Cultural, and that show is mostly music, really good music in Spanish, but they also have great, really important conversations on that show as well. So, news is important, but also it's better. The more voices that we're hearing from and more languages, the better represented our community is. That means we're doing a better job.
Of course, and we are contributing to the integration to our community.